Recording. Hari Om and welcome to all the Divine Atma Jyotis. Today, let us learn Shloka 7.26. First, let us learn how to chant and the meaning. After that, we will go for contemplation. Vedāhaṁ samatītāni vartamānāni chārjuna bhaviṣhyāṇi ca bhūtāni mam tu veda na kaśhchana. So Sri Krishna is saying, O Arjuna, I know of past, present and future, and I also know all living beings, but me no one knows. Padashaha artha is veda, to know, aham, I, samatītāni, the past, vartamānāni, the present, cha, and Arjuna, bhaviṣhyāṇi, the future, cha, also, bhūtāni, all living beings, mam, me, tu, but, veda, knows, na kaśhchana, no one. So this is what Sri Krishna is saying. Now, let us begin our contemplation. Santoshji, would you like to go first?
Sure. So, what I understand from this shloka is, when Krishna says, O Arjuna, I know past, present and future, I also know all beings. In the sense, whenever I think of that I am body, I am mind, I am intellect, I'll be limited to that particular, I'll be limited to the boundary in the existence of an universal consciousness. Wherein, when I drop that particular, I am not the body, I am not the intellect, and I am not the mind, then what happens? Then who am I? Then I am that pure consciousness is the one which opens up in me, which in the sense, I am universal, I am one with that self, or I am one with that universe, which in turn, for me, no need to know what am I can only see, I can only be one with that self. In the sense, like, the one who knows past, present, and future is always there. And when I put a boundary saying that I am body, mind, and intellect, I am limited to that, wherein I will say that the suffering is happening to me. I'll be telling that this is only to me. Why this is only to me? Why this sorrow is only to me? To overcome that, whenever I contemplate and think that I am one with the self, like how example the Ganga water, when she actually takes birth from Gomukh, she will be in the form of drops. Drop by drop, she will become a what do you say, a kind of a
Mighty.
small huh?
No, mighty, is it? Big,
Yeah,
big.
small, might be then she will become a river, and then once she merges with the ocean, I mean, she until unless she merges with the ocean, she's only she's only small part. When she merges with the ocean, she is one with the ocean. Which in turn, even now, we also point towards that self rather than focusing on like how when she actually goes through, she will found plants, she will found mountains, stones. She will bypass everything, and once she reaches that, she is one with the ocean. In a similar way, whatever that comes to us, we will have to cross it by accepting. And when we are one with the self, that is what it is everything. And that's what I understand from this shloka.
So here there is a reference by Sri Krishna about him knowing the past, present, and the future. How do you relate to that idea?
See, when I think past, present, and future, if I wanted to say, uh, from the limited body, I cannot see that past, present, and future. But from the consciousness of Krishna, I am everything means I am past, I am future, and I am present. Which in the sense, um, uh, I am in all waking state, dream state, and deep sleep state. Similar way, I can relate to that. I am present in everywhere when I am from the perspective of awareness. I mean, this is how I understand Vijayji. I mean, might be you can give
Sure.
some light on that.
And how do you relate to the last sentence by Sri Krishna? And me, no one knows.
Yes. See, until and unless we always give name and form and with the body mind consciousness, see, there is only one awareness, which in turn, when we start thinking on the awareness, we give name and form as give the name as Jesus, give the name as Buddha, Mahavira, or Shiva, Vishnu, whatever it is. But that is only limited. When we think behind that, which in the sense, uh, you know, uh, from the perspective of awareness and consciousness, he actually, he is the one. So the consciousness already knows that, from the Krishna consciousness or whatever we say, he knows already who we are. But we don't know until unless we go there and see. We can only know only by, being one with him. Until unless we will not be able to bifurcate and see that I am consciousness, but I can only be one with that conscious, universal conscious. Bindu with Sindhu. That's what I understand, Vijayji.
Okay, ji. Thank you very much, Santosh ji. Thank you.
Thank you, thank you.
Krishna ji, would you like to share your views?
Yeah. So here Sri Krishna is talking about the the consciousness. I know of past, present, and future. I also know all living beings, but no one knows. So, so Krishna is saying here, the consciousness is a witnesser. I can relate with the picture. So it's a witnesser or not the experiencer. He sees through multiple living beings or the all living beings, and but no one is like the is he's referring no one as a body mind here. No one is aware of that there is a witnesser. So that's about the sloka here. Uh, how I'm interpreting in my day-to-day life and how did to take it to my personal. So everyone instead of everyone, like I was also like quite all almost most of the days, like until and before this attending this satsang and being into thinking about spirituality, who I am and everything. Like I was also like more of a body mind complex. But here Sri Krishna gives a hint. See, you currently I'm only focusing on the present or maybe future. I'm thinking I want this, that, and I'm worrying about that. But Sri Krishna is pointing about not only this body mental, but also the consciousness, which is aware of all the births. And also he is referring here all the living beings. The consciousness is something like uh, which is the ultimate, and it has multiple way. How can I cannot say variation or multiple objects, like be it a human being or a bird or ant. So everything is consciousness, and it's a manifestation or manifest. I see as a manifestation, or it's based on the karmic thing. It's taking birth and dying and everything. But ultimately, the one which bonds and dies, right? That's not aware of him. So we are also. I mean, I was also not aware, but still we are. I'm figuring out like what is that. I theoretically know, and sometimes I feel like I experience the thing without body mind, but still I don't know like how do I acknowledge or like how do I verify or validate the thing. This is not my body mind feeling the experience because the senses I'm experiencing through senses. So so that's how I'm interpreting. So still like now, at least now I came a little bit, or I don't know that metric, but still I am able to like be in time, like see the witness by questioning myself. My body was like this, and I increased weight, reduced weight. My experience was this way. So in a way, Sri Krishna through this sloka is giving us a strong pointer to see there is someone else without, I mean, without this body and mind, which is actually seeing these things. But the body mind is experiencing, it's only the experience place where it the senses through five things and experience. But who we are truly is that who's the witnesser is the true one. But he also says here, but no one knows me. I think it is because like there is some stages like one who has to be attached to the body mind, and they get depressed and they get into tough situation. uh, After that only like one looks up to him, and until that person is still like he's with body mind complex. That's why he's referring here as but me no one knows. So so that's my understanding and interpretations, Vijay.
Wonderful. Thank you very much, Krishna ji. Thank you.
Thank
Satish ji.
Yeah, Vijay, Hari Om. So, when Krishna is saying, I know past, present, and future, means I consider like he is the creator, preserver, and destroyer. So he knows all the three states, past, present, and future. And because he is the creator, he knows each and every living being, and that is in the form of consciousness. In every living being is there. So uh, in that way, he knows all the living beings because he's the creator. And but me no one knows, in the sense, if we realize that we are the self, like the tattvamasi, then we there is no rebirth. So that state, once someone attains, is something like knowing the almighty, right? So the until someone attains or gains that, no one knows him, is what is my understanding.
Is how you are interpreting. Okay, all right, wonderful. Thank you, Satish ji. Okay, so let's dig a little deeper. The fundamental approach Sri Krishna is taking in Bhagavad Gita is to bring clarity through various kinds of, in a way, perplexing puzzles. See, at the end of the day, when you and I have to learn, if let's say there is a statement, okay? For example, for a small child, if you say, look, this is north, this is south, this is east, this is west, something like that, if I tell, small child will simply take it. However, if I ask, what should we call this? If I have to go this way, what should we call this? If I have to go this way, what should I call this? Then there is a slightly different way in which you are engaging that child. In the first one, there is no engagement of the child's inherent capacity to analyze, interpret, and to come to clarity. In the second approach, by asking a question, you are enabling the child to get into a topic of, okay, so if I have to go this way, what should I call it? And if I have to go this way, what should I call it? And whatever the name I give to this, and this, whatever we call as north, east, south, west, whatever the names we have given, what is all of it? So like that, it can lead to a deeper understanding of a concept called direction. Fundamentally, these are different names being given to a concept called direction. And where is the concept called direction? Is something that that particular child invents, right? So by prompting a question, you're making the child go deeper into understanding this. In a similar way, Sri Krishna, by presenting a puzzle, he wants you and me to analyze it and to discern. This is one of the teaching method, if you will, that Sri Krishna has employed throughout Bhagavad Gita. In some cases, he is given straight answer. In some cases, he is given perplexing answer. At the surface level, it feels very puzzling. So take this shloka itself. He's saying, I know past, present, and future. So Trikala Jnani. He knows everything. Then he's saying, I know all living beings. Meaning what? All the different things. There are innumerable things. So there is someone who knows all the time, Trikala, and who knows all the forms, but no one knows him. Then how can somebody talk about him? How can somebody write about him? If nobody really knows, then how can Bhagavad Gita claim that there is a supreme consciousness? Or how can Krishna only talk about supreme consciousness? So it feels as if like there is not a very direct answer. It's not as easy or as simple as what appears. How can I accept no one knows? Then who is the one who is writing about this? At least that fellow, Vedavyasa, should have known. Then how can Vedavyasa also say, but me, no one knows? So a seemingly puzzling, and that too a confusing puzzle, isn't it? So let's dig a little deeper through some examples and come back to analyze through the light of that puzzle. So imagine you are this captain of the ship. And let's imagine this is way back in the past when no GPS, no telephone, nothing existed. And let's imagine you are in the middle of the ocean. And let's imagine, for whatever reason, you've lost all your map. Now, as a captain of this ship, let's say you had to go in some direction. How will you know which way to navigate? Remember, you're in the middle of the ocean. It's dark, it's night. There are no electronic devices because you are in way back time. Your map is lost. What would you do if you are captain of this ship? How will you navigate? What would you do, Krishnaji?
Again, like I can call the higher person, but still I don't have GPS. I cannot say where I am.
Yeah, this is time way
I'll
back.
be like,
No phone, no GPS.
Yeah, again, it's night.
I was thinking about the sun. We can go towards east and all, but still, it's night, so I'm not sure. Kind of stuck.
You're stuck. Okay. Satish ji, Santosh ji, you have any pointers?
No, it is as Krishnaji mentioned and you mentioned. How to navigate is what a big question here. See, either, justification is different, but how to navigate at that present moment in the dark is what the question.
Correct.
And we are clueless on this part. And I'm not getting, because no GPS, no radar. Even you cannot go by the wind flow because he will miss the route, and
Okay.
he should. Yeah.
All right. Interesting. So we are now stuck, looks like. Satish, do you have any suggestion?
No, maybe the planetary positions, if the captain is aware, based on that, I think he can move. But that is very less probability.
Okay. All right. Wonderful. Very close answer. Because if, let's say, back in the olden days, how they used to navigate is based on the position of the stars and relationship of those stars to the given time of the year. So, for example, you all may have heard about something called as a Dhruva Nakshatra, North Pole Star. The significance of the North Pole Star is, especially if you're in the northern hemisphere, it is always in the same direction. It always points to the north direction. Because as the season change, as the earth is rotating around the sun, these stars on the horizon of the sky, they appear in different places, except for this North Polaris star, also called as North Pole star. In our tradition, we've been referring it as Dhruva Nakshatra. So the significance of the Dhruva Nakshatra is it's always in that same spot in the sky, irrespective of the season of the Earth's rotation or the season of the year. So if you know the secret as a captain of this ship, you at least know that that is Polaris, that is Dhruva Nakshatra, and with reference to that, then you would navigate. And that's how the olden day navigation maps were actually constructed. They were constructed based on the position of different stars. So what enabled you to navigate in this dark situation is awareness of how a particular star appears, isn't it? Similarly, for you and me, in life, you and I are exactly like this captain of the ship, which is in the middle of the ocean called as life. And there are no GPS actually in life to guide you and me that is readily available at the first glance. But if you and I know that there is actually a GPS, so this Polaris star, if you think about it, is acting as a GPS. What it is doing? It is helping you to position your ship with reference to a particular star, and with reference to that, it can help you to say, okay, I have to go 30 degrees to this star or 40 degrees to this star. So now I know how to move. Like that, a positioning system is what you and I need, which is what you and I call as truth. In life, you and I can navigate safely when you and I can agree on something called as a truth, satya. What is a satya? Satya is something that you and I can first and foremost agree to. You and I shouldn't have a disagreement. You and I may have a disagreement initially because you and I may not have understood the truth completely. But once when you and I clarify, you and I should have the same understanding, common experience. That is the first quality of a truth. Second most important quality of the truth is that it should be the same, just like how this North Polaris star, irrespective of the season of the year, a statement of truth must be true whether it is here in India or in America or in some other place, as well as it should be true yesterday, today, tomorrow. Isn't it? This is what we call as the quality of a statement which can be considered as truth. When can a statement become truth or satya? Is when it is desha. Desha means what? A space. Here, there, that place is desha, space. India, America, moon, space, desha. Kala. Kala means what? Yesterday, today, tomorrow. Desha, kala, then vyakti. Vyakti means what? You, me. When something is not changing between desha, kala, vyakti, is when something becomes a statement of truth. Isn't it? Rest everything is in a way relatively true or untrue. Relatively true means what? For example, I like jalebi. You may say, I don't like jalebi. I like Jahangir. So, if I make a statement that all human beings like jalebi, you will not agree to that. You will say, no, no, no. Some of us like Jahangir. Some of us don't even like sweet. So, therefore, it is a relative truth. It's a statement which is true only for somebody and in some place, and that too in some time. For example, it is not that I always like Jahangir or jalebi, or for that matter, you also. It is not that you always have liked Jahangir. Maybe some years back, you liked some other sweet. Maybe after some time, you may like some other sweet. As of today, you may say, I like jalebi, Jahangir, or whatever, right? So it's a relative truth. Means what? It is true in some place, in some time, for somebody only. So in life, there are some statements which are like that, relative. Whereas some statements are not relative, they are universal. Desha, kala, vyakti, all will agree to that. As a simple example that we are seeing here, North Pole star always appears in the same spot in the horizon is an agreeable statement. But in a way, it is not completely universal, because the moment you come out of the Earth atmosphere, and let's say you are in some other solar system, there you may not necessarily find North Pole star. So in a way, it is not completely universal. However, if I make a statement like how Sri Krishna taught you and me in the beginning, that change is the nature of nature. In nature, there is a constant change. Nothing ever remains the same. If you and me examine this particular statement, you and I can easily see that, yeah, it's agreeable, that there is a constant change happening. You and I can also examine whether this particular statement is true in India, in America, in Moon, in Mars, go wherever, you and I can see that this statement appears true, that there is a constant change happening. And it was true for your grandparents, true for you today, and it will be true for your grandchildren or any other generations, right? So this statement that change is the nature of nature appears to be desha, kala, vyakti, common experience, universal truth. So now, the moment you and I recognize such universal truth, such statements, just like how this North Pole star helps you to navigate life, this universal truth, when you and I recognize and realize, it guides our various situations of life. If I do not know this truth, As an example, let's say I have a very favorite shirt and that shirt is now torn. I may be sitting and crying, ayyo, I lost my shirt. But when I know that nature is constant change, then I accept and move on, isn't it? So like that, the value of truth is navigation. So now, what is that Sri Krishna has told you and me here? I know past, present, and future. So in a way, he's talking about he is seeing past, present, and future. Now, what aspect in you has been always seeing the change that is happening in your life? When you examine that question, what is the answer you receive? What in you is able to notice the change, but that itself is not changing? The answer, based on whatever you and I have learned in Bhagavad Gita, you can easily point out is that your consciousness, isn't it? Please notice, your body is constantly changing, your mind is constantly changing, but the consciousness, the witness, the one who is aware of this change, that awareness is not changing. That awareness, because of the presence of the awareness, the change can be seen, isn't it? So it's much like, imagine, you're standing in front of a bus stop and let's assume, a bus comes and let's say that bus is number 10 and that bus goes away. When somebody comes and asks, did bus number 10 go away? When will you be able to answer? Only if you're one among them who has been standing in the bus stop when the bus came and went. Otherwise, you cannot answer reliably, isn't it? Just like that, in your life, whatever change that has happened, you have always been a witness to that. If, let's say, for example, if I take your childhood photo and I share it with somebody, and also I share with them your current day photo, they may not necessarily, if they have not known you, they may not necessarily recognize that it is the same person. Whereas you would say, oh, it's my photo only. It is me when I was just 3 months old. It is me when I'm 5 years old. It is me when I'm 50 years old. Like that, you may give an answer. Just like this bus stop example, only if you have been there standing in that bus stop, could you have seen the bus move. All these changes you're able to talk about only because you must be there when all this change is happening. So you cannot be the changing. You cannot be the passenger in the bus. Then who would be there to answer? So therefore, you must be that unchanging, the one who is witnessing all this change. Now, don't you know about your 3-year-old photo? So you're talking about your past. Don't you know what happened some 10 years back, let's say a major event? You may not remember all the details, but the general progression of so-called your life, you're able to recall. Where is that? In your memory. What do you have in your memory? Your past. What else are you writing into your memory? Your present. And what about the future? Many a times, depending upon what you are putting, how your future can be. See, for example, you aimed at creating a certain future for yourself. When you said, I want to get into this kind of a job, or I want to study this kind of a course, in a way, you already said, this is how my future has to be. And based on that, your life's energies moved in that direction. So you, the consciousness, in the presence of you, your lives past, present, and future are happening. And what about the I know all? In your life, till now, whatever that has come, so many people, so many kinds of things, so many places, everything, all that thing has come into you, that is the awareness, isn't it? So only because of you, the awareness, everything else is seen. So all your life story has a meaning only because you, the story writer, you, the storyteller, you, the consciousness is there. Otherwise, who's there to tell all this story? Who's there to give meaning to all this? So you know everything. In a way, in your presence only, all of this has taken shape. And the last part that Sri Krishna is saying, me, no one knows. To understand that, I have a simple question for you to see whether you can really count. So how many things do you see here, Krishnaji? How many different things you can count here in this picture?
Sting wise, one lamp, a plant, and wall and the floor also is a thing, or like.
So you count four things. Okay, wonderful. And Satishji, how many things you count?
Stand, the pot, and the Panchabhutas, although it is a photo.
How many things do you count?
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 12.
12. Okay, wonderful. Santoshji?
I am able to count somewhere around 21 leaves.
Okay.
And that pot,
Yeah.
and three leg stand, 4 leg stand, and one lamp.
Excellent. Right? So in a way, how many things, when I prompt that question, the answer depends upon, for example, in the case of Satishji, there is a understanding of the Panchamahabhutas. So he's included them also, though they are not seen in the picture. And in a way, the number of things you count depends upon how many things you are able to recognize, right? So if, let's say, for example, you had the microscopic vision, then each and every, let's say, for example, cell is one unique thing as an example. So like that, it depends, your answer depends upon, it could be, you know what, I cannot really simply count here because I see so many billions and billions of things here. So something like infinite. Two, also depending upon your viewpoint, you can say, look, at a gross level, I see a lamp, a pot, a wall, and floor, 4 things. But then, like how Satishji said, hey, aren't you missing the most important thing, which is the space in which all these items are there? So in a way, the way we look at all this, we always look at what is coming into our perception, isn't it? And we get lost in looking at what is coming into our perception. But we miss out one very important element in this counting, which is, who is the one who is seeing this? Who is the one who is seeing this? Without that seer, can there be any of this counting? And whenever you look at any of these objects, the one who is seeing, are you able to see the seer? It is like, can the mirror ever see mirror, that is itself? Can the sun ever see light? Sun is light. There is no separate thing called as a sun and light. There is no separate thing called as you and consciousness. You can be the consciousness. You cannot see the consciousness because you are the consciousness. You cannot see yourself. You can be that. That is the ultimate secret. What one may be searching for as, one day I will find God. No, you cannot see God because you can be that divine. You can realize that the one who is searching is simply like this bird, a shadow, and the only reality is this divine consciousness. You cannot see the divine consciousness, you can be it. There is no way to see but to be. So these are all pointers to something that you cannot see, but in a way, through the shloka, you're able to see that. See what? See the ultimate as unseeable. That is also in a way seeing it, in a way knowing it, but not fully knowing it. Just like how you and I, with this instrument called body and mind, can never ever see something that is infinite. Please see. Can you and I ever see infinite? Is it possible to see the vast expanse called as space? You and I can become aware of the space because something which is limited appears, and when that limited thing disappears, the container in which that limited thing appeared and disappeared, you and I can become aware of it and say, yeah, there is a space, and that space is infinite. And that space cannot be seen through this limited instrument called body and mind. You and I can become aware of it, that there is something infinite. But infinite itself cannot be seen. It is not comprehensible to this mind. Because mind can function only in time and space. When there's a limitation, then only mind can function. Because whatever images you and I see has a definite boundary of space, and it exists only in certain time. So something that is beyond space and time cannot be comprehended by this instrument called mind and body. But by becoming aware that there is something in whose presence all of this is appearing, and that in whose presence all of this is appearing and disappearing is who I am truly. You can only be that, but cannot see it. Seeing means it is separate from you. Just like how a mirror cannot ever see itself. So this secret, that ultimately the divine consciousness, Paramatma, is unseeable to these sense organs, is unknowable to this instrument called mind. Sri Krishna is pointing at ultimate reality. Hari Om.
Vijayji, what I understand is, so the consciousness is always there in past, present and future. And with our limited mind, we are able to only recognize in terms of mind, time and space, which is limited. So rather than we, you know, mm, much bothered about past or future, and with limited sense, being one with that consciousness is what the true is what
Yeah,
I
I
understood.
cannot see the divine, or I cannot see the Paramatma
Correct.
as a
Correct.
separate thing.
I can only be one with him.
I can only be one with it.
Okay, got it. So that past, present, and future is again, he is always there in the past, present, and future. Where I am limited. In that perspective, I am limited with respect to body, mind, intellect. But from when I'm not a body, mind, intellect, I am that only. Then I am always there in the present, past, and future. Where with this limited body, I was not able to recognize. When I'm one with that, I am everything.
Correct.
Thank you, Vijayji. Got it.
Krishna ji, any questions or any other points?
Yeah, Vijay, I'll try to form it as a sentence, but yeah. So being with one, right? So see, when I do sadhana, mm, how one can differentiate, right? Whether I'm be truly being with that, or like I'm hallucinating or sensing through my sense organs. Like, what is a true being there? Like how that can be, or how it will be experienced, or that part. Like I'm like I understood to
So the
be there, but
question,
how do I know? How do I? Yeah.
who is asking the
Mm-hmm.
question is the most important question.
Mm,
Who is the one who is asking the
mm,
question?
mm. Me.
Who is
Mm,
that me?
mm,
And when that me is recognized with body and mind, I get into an illusion that I am limited, and then
mm,
start seeking something that is unlimited. So therefore,
mm,
what the great masters are saying, recognize. They're not saying that you will become. They're saying recognize. Tatattvamasi. You are that only.
mm,
So sadhana, what I call as sadhana, who is the one who is saying, I have to do sadhana? For example, just to illustrate by taking this picture that you see on your screen, what does this bird, which is a sakshi, has to do to be a sakshi? What has it got to do to be a sakshi? Does it have to do any sadhana to be a sakshi?
no,
It is already a
it
sakshi.
is. Yeah. It is. Yeah.
Whereas this bird, can it ever be sakshi?
No.
No. That is the biggest secret. The one who is asking the question will
Mm,
never get enlightened. And the one
mm,
who is enlightened will never have the doubt.
mm, mm, yeah. Thanks, Vijay. I got.
Satish ji?
Yeah. Now, if I mean, I was just trying to get my premise proper. Like, when we say, when we realize there is no rebirth, so that means when you know who the creator is, then you won't come back. Then how come the last sentence says there is no one who knows him? Because once we know him, then there is no rebirth. Is my understanding correct? And that's the reason no one knows him. I am still little having a small confusion there.
Okay.
I mean, first of all, is this premise right? Or
Yeah. So let's understand it clearly. When Krishna says, or when any realized master says, the one who has realized will not have rebirth. What does it mean? See, what does rebirth mean? Rebirth means there is a certain change. If you look at your, say, 5-month-old photo, your own 5-month-old photo, Satish ji, and if you look at your 15-year-old photo, and if you look at your, let's say, 45-year-old photo, you can see that, purely as a form, they're not the same, isn't it? And that's why I gave the example. If you were to go give these photos to someone totally unknown to Satish ji, they may not even recognize that, this 5-month-old photo and this 15-year-old photo are of the same person. They may think, this is a child, a baby, and this is someone else. Impossible. So in a way, if you really think about it, what is birth, rebirth? There is a constant change that is happening in nature. And the snapshot that you took at 5 months and the snapshot that you took at 15th year, you compare these two, and in a way, to someone totally unknown to you, it may look like this is separate, this is separate. This 5-month-old photo is of some person, this 15-year photo is of some other person. So in a way, that person may incorrectly conclude and say, look, this is person A, this is person B. So in a way, this is what you and I in the society call as birth, rebirth. When something has disappeared completely, we say it as dead. When something appears, we call it as birth. So in a way, by looking at these two photos, you can clearly, as that new person will clearly think, this is somebody, different person. This is person A, this is person B. Two different births. But if I give the same photo to you, you will not have that confusion. You will simply say, look, it is me only. My body was like this. Now my body has become like this. The change is what you will point at and say, look, it is because it is changing. And if I ask you, hey, why is it like that? You will simply answer, hey, that is how it is, Appa. That is the nature of how it is. That is the nature of the body, to constantly change. So for you, it is no more a big puzzle. It is me only. You have that clarity. So it's the same clarity that you and I have to gain with respect to who I am. The answer that I have a birth and rebirth comes because I'm identified with a certain form, which exists in a certain space and time. Because I'm identified myself as that form, I am a man, I'm a woman, I'm an Indian, I'm Kannadiga, I was born in here, I was raised here. Because I'm identified with such aspects, I feel I am limited. And the whole crux of the spiritual teaching is to realize, is to recognize that You are not this limited name and form that is appearing and disappearing. Which Satish is true Satish? For example, today, there are many Satishes. There's a husband Satish, there is a father Satish, there is an employee Satish, there is a maybe a student Satish, there is a teacher Satish. Which of these Satish is true? If I ask that question, which of Satish is true, would you say, Satish ji?
Yeah. So, yeah, there are different role plays. So, I as a identity.
You are identifying yourself with one of those identities, isn't it?
Yeah.
So when was the husband Satish born?
Yeah, got it. When
you got
married.
married.
Yeah.
When was the
Yeah.
father
Yeah.
Satish born? When you had a baby,
Yeah.
right? So before marriage, husband Satish wasn't there. And one day he was born. And now the husband Satish has forgotten that he got married and then he became husband Satish. You know who I am? As soon as your wife comes, you're a husband in front of your wife. Having forgotten that, one day you became husband Satish. Husband Satish is a role you're playing in a drama stage called life. This life is nothing but a four-dimensional drama theater. It has X, Y, Z axis. That is what you and I call as space. And another axis called as time, which cannot be perceived by these senses. The time dimension cannot be perceived by the senses directly, because the senses, the eyes, are geared to see something in this three-dimensional space. But there's a fourth dimension in this world of change, which is called the time dimension. That is what our great masters have recognized. There is space and time. And whatever is happening in space and time is what you and I recognize as birth and death and rebirth. But the fundamental question is, who is the one who is aware of all this change? You. So, which Satish are you truly then? Which Satish are you truly then?
Yeah. The soul level, going back to the core. Yeah.
The one who is seeing all this change, isn't it?
Uh-huh. Yeah.
Like in this picture, the bird, see that this is Mundaka Upanishad's statement. Mundaka says there are two birds. One eats the sweet fruit of tree. This is the one who recognizes himself as Jiva. You know who I am? I am husband, I am father, I am as an employee, I am good, I am bad, I am Indian, I am Kannadiga, so on and so forth. The one who eats the fruit of the tree. Because he's so engrossed in the world of name and form. Another simply looks on without eating. You are this Sakshi. Recognize you are this Sakshi. This is appearing and disappearing. Is what the freedom is. And the one who has recognized is now no more going to recognize himself as this or that. So therefore is free from birth and death. Not that he has escaped somewhere else. He has simply stopped recognizing himself as I'm this and that. He or she, from the standpoint of someone else, may still be playing a role. Like a realized being may play the role of a husband, wife, a mother, father, guru, shishya, all those roles he or she may be playing. But that is from the standpoint of another person who is still recognizing himself or herself as a person. But for the realized one, the personhood has dropped away. No more there is identification with I am this or that. I am not somebody. I am actually nobody. So therefore, I can be anybody. I can be everybody. I am everybody. So when I'm nobody only, I can know all bodies. I know all living beings. When I'm nobody only, I have no constraints of time. Past, present, and future is for somebody. For nobody, there is no past, present, and future. So that nobody knows past, present, and future, knows all the bodies. But the one who is nobody cannot be seen by somebody. Somebody can never know nobody. Is this bringing clarity, Satishji?
Oh, yeah. But still, like we see that there are few features you got from, say, your parent or from your maternal uncle. And also, how does that, when you say soul enters to a new body, right? That previous things continue, they say, right? For karma or their
Very simple,
spiritual
no,
practices.
Satishji. So, for example, what is the first thing that you do in the morning when you wake up, Satishji?
Gratitude for getting up.
What is the first activity that generally you perform in the morning?
Activity, yeah.
Maybe
Clean
you
up.
go and wash your face and brush your teeth, right?
Yeah, clean up. Yeah.
Okay. So now, why is it that you don't, as soon as you wake up, go and eat, say, for example, breakfast?
No, the practices of discipline that has been taught like that.
Because of the practice, you have cultivated a habit called, I have to brush the teeth. However, if I had taught you right from your beginning a practice called, you have to eat breakfast as soon as you wake up. That is the best thing for your health. If I had taught you that, you would have practiced that, isn't it?
Yeah.
So whatever you are practicing, now take this example and look at all your behaviors. The way you dress, why do you wear the dress the way you wear? What you eat, why you eat the way you eat, why you speak the way you speak, is because that is what, let's say, your mother, father, or your uncle, aunt practiced. In a way, hasn't someone told you, hey, when you smile, you look like your grandfather? When you're talking, I was for a moment thought it is my uncle only who was speaking. Hasn't somebody come and told you like that?
Yeah.
When someone is doing a mimicry, haven't you noticed their speech, their body language feels as if like that other person?
Yeah.
So, can you not call it as parakaya pravesha? So, this is nothing but a pattern of behavior has entered from one body to another body. Why do you keep brushing? See, that brushing tendency is moving from your 5-year-old Satish Ji to 15-year-old to 45-year-old also. See, the tendency is carrying from one birth to another birth. Like that,
Yeah.
what is carried over is nothing but these tendencies. So that is what you and I call as tendencies. So in a house, you soak tendencies. You may know this wonderful story of the two birds. two twins born to the same mother. One of the parrot was taken to a butcher, another one was taken to a pandit's house. After many days, when anybody would go to the butcher's house, that parrot in that house would greet them as, I'll kill you, I'll murder you, I'll butcher you. The one in the pandit's house would say, please come, please sit, shall I give you water? Twins born to the same mother, but now have gotten tendencies based on the environment and what they have accepted to carry out through them, through their environment. That is how you and I have a birth and a rebirth. When you and I are identified as a form, you and I carry a certain tendency. So your mother, father, or whoever, in fact, all your ancestors are living through you at this moment. Some part of your ancestors is living through you. The language that you and I speak, whose language is it? Ancestors' language. Whose dress are we wearing? It's our ancestors who've gone into mud, who have grown into cotton, and now has become cloth. So in a way, in life, everything is a recycle. In a way, there is really no death. Are you able to see this?
Yeah, got it. Yeah, Vijay. Thank you.
All right. So is there anything else anybody wants to say or ask? Okay. Then let us end our contemplation here today. Hari Om.